Afternoon, this is the Monday, July 15th, regular Nominations and Appointments Committee meeting. My name is Chris Miller. I'm counselor for District 6. Beside me is Vanessa Campos, counselor for District 1, and beside her is Wesley Butler, counselor for District 4. Tonight, we have two reappointments that we'll be interviewing. Both are for the Stadium Commission. And we'll be starting out with Mr. Ricky D'Annunzio.
Yes.
And welcome. And thank you for coming and taking the time. The way the process works, and you may be here because this is a reappointment, so you probably went through this before, but we will take turns asking you questions just to get a general idea to make sure that when we're done, if you have any questions for us, my first question, I'll start out. How long have you been on the Stadium Commission? Approximately.
It's approximately 13 years. I did 2 terms and then I took a little hiatus because I felt the committee was getting a little too. I came back on again.
Okay. And for the time before, the time that you have served, what are the probably seen like some major things happen,
Yeah.
but if you could just highlight some of those and then some of the things that you think could be.
Just working with the Reading Philly staff, and Scott Hunsinger and his whole group, they're just, I mean, what they do for that stadium out there, of getting it out, having it open for the city and stuff like that, and just seeing it grow. I mean, things. Us, we go look at it, we put the vote through to replace like boards and stuff like that need to be replaced. Just had a good relationship, but it's phenomenal working with that group. Nice stadiums, probably United States for that, for AAA. It even measures up with some major league stadiums, like saying, right? I'm a big baseball fan, played. The next day and stuff like that. So it's been a part of my life. I've been writing my whole life. And I've just seen nothing but positive things being done out there.
So is there anything that you feel could use some?
No, things get taken care of. We see now, formally, we don't seem to be able to take care of, need to be taken care of.
Okay.
With council, the backing of council, I mean, you guys getting the funding and stuff for us, so we need it, and that is. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, that's good to hear. I'm gonna pass it on to my fellow counselors.
Thank you, Ricky, for reapplying and for your interest in continuing to remain in the commission. What skills, abilities, or other characteristics do you have that helps the board successfully achieve this purpose?
Well, obviously, I worked at UGI Utilities for 42 years, and I was the business manager of the union over there. So I took care of the negotiating contracts with the utility in that way. And I've been, I filled in as the
Thank you, Ricky, for wanting to reapply for your service. They've been on the commission. Honestly, it's tough to not. Wasn't already asked by my colleagues here. So What I'm asking, anyway. Are you able to regularly attend?
Was very recently announced just because of an illness in the family, but I'm very committed to the meetings. And if you want to recommend and stuff like that, I've been committed. Like I said, I've been the desk chairman. I've been recording secretary, so I'm very dedicated to it.
That's it.
Okay. I think, you know, you do a very good job of answering multiple questions in short sentences. I think you answered all the questions that we had. And it's good to know that you have a history, that you've been there a while and that you enjoy it. And also that you've done multiple jobs on the board, because I think that's important that people can move around. So I don't think we really have any other questions. It's a little bit different when somebody has been on a board for a while versus somebody who's brand new, and they usually have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions, so this is a little bit more cut and dry. But did you have any questions for us?
No, the only questions and the only, like you had asked me before, the only fallback I see is it's hard for me to believe that we have so much trouble getting people to fill the commission, the state commission, where we've had a lot of vacancies at times and stuff. I mean, we've dropped, just because we couldn't get enough people, we dropped down from, it used to be 8 of us, and now down to 4 of us, 5 of us. And it's just a shame. I mean, people would have just got involved, seen,
It's not just the stadium commission, it's across
yeah.
the the board.
That's about the only downfall of interest people.
I think it's just, like you mentioned, you know, you were very dedicated when you stepped up. And it shows, and I don't know if everybody, which is a shame, you're absolutely right. Hopefully that changes. Well, if you have no questions for us,
I'm not really, no.
all right, I'll let Shelley explain what the process is from this point on.
So once all the interviews today are completed, then the committee will discuss amongst themselves whether or not to reappoint.
Very nice meeting you. Very cool.
Right,
Yes.
that's the word.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
My turn. Okay. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Thorne, how are you?
Counselor, how are you? Nice to see you. Good and you're.
How are you doing?
Pardon me?
How are you doing?
Hanging in there, yeah. You know. Thank you for taking the time to see me today.
Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
So, I'm sure you're familiar with the process, as this is a reappointment for you, but just for the audience, the viewing audience, we will take turns asking questions. And then at the end, if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask. Actually, I'm gonna let Councilor Campos start this time.
I'm sorry, I know
Um,
Councilor Butler very well.
Yeah, Counselor Vanessa Campos, District 1.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, so, I was impressed with your, background here, your application. You're very active in the volunteer, and I can see, I like the shirt you have on with the black top.
Yes, I apologize. that I didn't wear my stadium commission. But I was just interviewed, we had to clarify the tragedy that took place. Some of the social media had reported that the shooting had taken place at Blacktop on the courts. And it got out that way, and some of the people who are involved in Blacktop as far as bringing their kids and bringing their teams in have called Veronica since that has happened, and they would like to not come in anymore. So it was, she's very upset. Because all they do, everything is given from their heart. They don't make any money. There's no money given. So all the work that she and her family do and the rest of the board, you know, we didn't want it to go up in flames because of a false report. There was no shooting. There was no problem on the court. There has never been. We're there 30 years. There are a few antics sometimes in the conference station, but those are people from the playground or from the outside. They're not.
Thank you for
I hope
clarifying for your advocacy.
I hope
of
you
that.
didn't mind me saying.
No, no worries. So one of the, aside from your impressive background, here, also former city council, man as well. My question is, how has the city assisted the commission, the stadium commission, and is there more assistance necessary from us?
From us as in the city council.
Yeah.
You're referencing. Well, you do have a liaison on board, and you do have a member of council in Donna Reed who is there, so, you know, it's not as if actually the city council is ever in the dark, because for the most part, whether it be Donna or whether it be another appointed council member, they bring a lot of information to us, and we then to them as well. You know, for example, if there are, if there are seems to be a problem with the light or the electricity, or there's not enough, or the situation in the bathrooms, that those are kind of things that we sometimes hear if we're circulating the stands. You know, you might hear something like that. But I don't want to say never, but it's very, very rare that we hear negativity at all. You know, whether it be prices of concessions or the way the vendors treat you. I mean, everything is very, very positive. If there was something afoul, we would say it. Maybe city council might want to up the $5,000 a year, because $5,000 has been the amount of money that council gives for improvement. Well, you know as well as I, that $5,000 doesn't buy a whole lot anymore. And that's been the situation for quite a while. But knowing that city council and the county clerks and everybody has been chipping in so incredibly to get this thing built the way it has been built, so it would comply with Major League Baseball. We decided, okay,
Yes.
we decided that we would put that on the back burner.
Okay.
Okay, but no, and I promise you that, you know, if you feel that, oh, we have a great board too. And if you feel that any of us or myself would not be worthy of going, or especially if you do feel that we're worthy of going, and it's something say something, so we would make a suggestion, that could be done.
Well, thank you for your response. That's the only question I had. I'll pass it on to Councilor Butler.
Thank you for your time again, for your service.
Thank
On
you,
commission.
thank you for taking this board responsibility.
My question is, how is, the commission's relationship with the organization?
I don't, just gotta go to that close. Me too.
So how is the commission's relationship with the Phillies organization?
Excellent. It is excellent. And you know, I think that has been chairman. He is, you know, he is just a wonderful, wonderful man. He's very personable and, he's so easy to talk to, you know, so that when he talks to Scott or anyone else in management out there, it's always, you know, it's very polite, it's very cordial, and the response is the same. So he has, as a matter of fact, we want to have a very, very good rapport with the front office and their staff. Very, very good. You know, so, I think that's a positive. I don't see anything. I really truly don't see anything that would be a negative that way.
That was
that could still be done in the future, maybe not now, but something that you feel is missing or lacking?
Well, in fairness to the old. They used to have parking and they had fireworks and you couldn't go on there when you had fireworks. Well, the plans for that are not finalized, you know, the landscaping and the hardscaping isn't finished yet. So I think that probably we have not had a meeting in a little over a month. So I would think that I haven't spoken to any of the contractors, but I would imagine that this weather has really, really hampered the hardscaping, you know, all the landscaping, the planning, things like that, because it's very little rain and it's just so terribly hot, as you know.
We all do.
You know, so it's kind of a negative all the way around. I mean, if you have.
Did you have any questions for us?
Oh, no. I appreciate, I certainly appreciate having gone through this myself. I happen to appreciate very much your time as a counselor and what you try to do. You try to make decisions that are going to benefit all of us. And that's not an easy thing to do. Remember when you were very young, someone said to you when you can't please everybody. And, you know, you have to take that and do the best. I'm sure that you're fine. So I just appreciate that. I appreciate that you allow me to come in here and talk to you, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you for those kind words.
Including my buddy. And Linda.
Yes.
I could not leave without saying, give a flip about that, right?
Yes, thank you.
You still playing pool?
I do it for fun, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can never stop.
Are you finished? Is everything finished at already now?
No, still, I got about a year left.
Oh, yeah.
So, one more.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really great.
Okay. Shelley will explain what the process is from this point on.
Okay,
So once you are out of the room, the committee will talk about your interview and they'll determine whether you are reappointed or not.
Okay.
You'll hear from me tomorrow. I'll give you a call and confirm one way or the other, just to let you know how things worked out.
okay,
Okay,
fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank you for taking the time to come in to,
My pleasure, absolutely, my pleasure. Please don't hold it against me, and I have this cane right now, I mean, it's a little slow there with my legs, but I'll be okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Yes, thank you.
Don't forget your glasses.
What did I forget?
your glasses.
Thank you so much.
You'll remember when
Honestly,
you're
this-
outside.
Honestly. Thank you again.
Thank you.
have a good evening.
Take care. Stay cool.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Wesley, my best to your parents.
Yeah, send your family.
You have great hair.
I know, I couldn't stop looking at
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Goes to my barber.
Does he?
I wish I.
Really, yeah, really great
Yeah,
hair.
beautiful. I noticed the same thing. I'm like, I'm so weird. I'm looking at it. It's so impressive.
Well, I'm a hairdresser, so I don't call myself weird.
Okay, let's have a discussion on Mr. D'Annunzio first. Obviously very dedicated, which came through as he spoke. And very committed to the point where he said, I've only ever missed one meeting, and that was because of a family illness, which is understandable. And very honest, the fact that he mentioned that he stepped away because he had a conflict, which I thought was, I mean, you can't get more honest than that. And I think all three of those are good qualities for somebody to be reappointed.
I agree as well, and his transparency, commitment, he mentioned. He was very proud of that, and not missing anything, and wanting more members to be part of, even though we downsized, but he sees the importance and the value of that participation.
Yep, I agree, and this is one of the boards that you don't hear about, negatively, I would say. So, when I think about that, I always think it's best to keep those people on the board, especially when they're still dedicated, no matter how many years they've been there, so.
So I'm in agreement.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, all three.
Cool.
And then for Mr. Shorn, who I think it's interesting, the fact that he was also a city councilman brings like another viewpoint to the commission that probably some of the other members wouldn't have. So the fact that he served on council, he could probably see things that they don't, which is an important thing. He also shows dedication to the commission and to the ballpark. He's obviously very proud of everything that's happened, and again, you know, very realistic, the fact when he discussed about the ask of council, but he mentioned that the money that came through the ARPA funds, that it sort of became a non-issue for now. But
Right.
it was a good conversation, so there's definitely a lot of knowledge there that's important to keep with the commission.
I agree as well. Yeah, his experience as a former elected official, and then all the volunteer that he has done, and is still part of. I think in his answers, you can tell he's such a gentleman, very dedicated and giving. So he would continue to add value to the commission. I agree with his reappointment.
yeah, I agree, another dedicated member, definitely like one of the more famous people in my district for being known to be in not just one organization or commission, like you said, even Blacktop, and you know, he's been doing this for some time now, so, yeah, I agree.
And as a sidebar, not that it's related directly to Mr. Shorn, but if you recall, a couple months ago, we actually interviewed his wife too,
Mhm.
for one of the board, which board was that?
Health.
The health board, which is pretty incredible to have a husband and wife.
Very active.
Right, especially when a lot of people are thinking about like sitting back in their easy
Right.
chair and they're just both gun ho to serve their city. I mean, you have to give credit there, and it's not like,
They're definitely public servants.
Yep. So I am all for Mr. Shorn staying on the stadium commission.
As well.
Yeah. Oh, that's-
Okay, well, that was easy. We like nights
I
like
it that
this.
way. Yeah.
All right, review of pending applications.
So once Mike and Ricky come off of that memo, I have one that is Anne is currently in the background process. I'm not sure when she'll move forward. It'll depend on how the timing is for that.
Okay. And am I allowed to say this? The memo that came out today about the environmental council? Did you see that?
Yes, the subcommittee?
And so will we need to
No, so that is not a voting EAC member.
okay,
The subcommittees and then grabs non-EAC members to help get their work done. 'Cause
Okay.
there's only pull in others, and that's where
Got
that
it.
person would
Okay,
be filling
good to
that.
know. All right, and then what else? All right, motion to adjourn?
I wanted to ask about, okay. So I'm following and I'm understanding. The open positions in the box are those that people are either not interested in getting reappointment or just vacant. They just, step down. So those are the ones that people can see are open.
Yes,
But if someone their term is coming up and they say they are interested in the reappointment and then they come to our interview, that's not really open. That's not like an open position,
right.
or is it?
I struggle with that, and I call it open only because I don't want the public to be confused that we're interviewing people for a board that's full, if that makes sense. So even if it's the same person who's vacant, their term expired, they're coming for us to be reappointed, technically it's vacant, but not really vacant.
Yeah,
So it's kind of hard to describe that, and I
Like
don't
two
want to.
tonight. Their positions are listed as,
So on this grid, you'll see that it says two openings, 2 applications pending.
okay,
I don't know how else to describe that without it being too confusing, for the public who looks at it, thinking that we're
understand.
interviewing for positions that don't exist. Like, it's already full, why are you doing 2 interviews tonight?
so the reason I'm asking is if someone's due for a reappointment, right? They're interested.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, and I don't know how this works, and I'm probably not getting it right. Like, we can't have other candidates interested in that position. Or can we? like, for example, the NOMS committee can interview for these two reappointments. We can also interview others that if they're watching closely for vacancies, they have an equal opportunity, and then we
Yes.
decide whether we go with a new applicant or the reappointment. Is that something that, and I don't know if we already did that already, I'm just losing track. But is that an opportunity available for all? Because I know some
Yes.
public comments complain about that, and it's like, well, it's my understanding that it's open for everybody. So if you're not tracking or you're not looking for an availability, we can't kind of shove it in. We can't tell you're interested in something. It's out there for you to track, apply, you come forth before us, and then we make a decision based on.
Right, and that scenario necessarily hasn't happened, but what we have
Okay.
encountered is if there's one vacancy and 4 applicants. So you interview all 4 and then choose which one. So there has been that situation before, but I don't recall there ever being a reappointment scenario like you just said, although it could happen.
So that's why I was asking, does the public know, like Chris meant, I was at, like, this is 2 vacancies, even though those that are already in the seat are interested in reappointment. But it's not guaranteed until they don't go to the interview with us, so
Right.
should that be open for everyone? And you said
Right.
it is, it's
Mhm.
coming up, okay. Because if it's not, then it looks like 2 interviews where there's no openings.
Right,
So-
which is why I feel like if I list that there's no vacancies and we're doing 2 interviews, that doesn't make sense to the
Right.
general public.
But I think the whole point of the reappointment is because there's a term and we're opening up for everybody to have equal access. No one's interested, we'll go with the ones that did show up. So, okay, I'm understanding it correctly, because some people see that we keep doing reappointments.
Right,
But if you're not applying, we don't have choices to compare, so
correct.
that gets lost in translation, like we just want the same people. But if the same people are doing their job and the only one's interested, we don't have choice, so.
Right,
And there could be a time that one of the reappointment applicants, we may not have liked the job they were doing.
And they don't want
They wanna get reappointed,
But
but
they
we as a
don't
body disagree.
Uh,
Now we still have, we may still.
then you
Okay.
create that vacancy. Mhm.
So how, I know the boards, commissions and authorities, spreadsheet,
Mhm.
and I can see the members listed and when their term is expired. Is that something that you provide in our, agendas too? Is that,
Yeah, that's this
Okay,
big,
okay,
long
back.
thing at the back.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, so they can see that.
yeah, that's
it's-
part of the public agenda.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
so if they're looking through
If
their
they're
agenda,
looking
they
through,
can
yeah.
see, okay, this guy's up for reappointment, I
Mhm.
can put my application in for that, I want to be on that.
Running against an incumbent for an election.
Right,
Right,
correct,
right,
correct, so it would be the same.
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me, but we get a lot of like comments about. And it doesn't, I don't know, what's what are we misinterpreting with? Okay.
Yeah,
It's off of our hands, so.
You know, we do get comments about, the criteria to be able to like, make a board. And I was wondering like, when's the last time we ever even looked at the criteria and said, oh, we should keep this in, or,
let's switch it
but
up.
I don't know the last time, I don't know, Michelle, if you know the last time we looked at.
We've kept it the same since we've instituted that, and that was back in the early 2000s. But it's basic, are you a resident? Do you have any outstanding parking? Like an exorbitant amount, if you had one yesterday and it's not due yet, that doesn't count. If you have $700 worth of 3-year-old parking tickets, then that's a problem. It's property taxes. And it is sewer, water bills, trash. And it is open criminal or civil cases,
In other words, you have to show you're a responsible citizen.
yes.
So when you
Yeah.
say revisit that, Wes, are you saying like, you're thinking that what's now, we should tweak, change, add, eliminate, like, what are your thoughts on those?
Well, there's not, from my opinion right now, like, there's not something I can think of that's like, oh, this should be changed. But I've heard it at our meetings
Yeah,
that, oh, like, from our constituents, some of their opinions is you're not getting these positions filled because your criteria
it's too
way
straight.
too strong to meet. So
But.
that's why I just brought it up, because I don't feel like we ever brought it up, and it made me wonder, when's the last time we ever checked our
Or looked
criteria?
at it, right.
Yeah, so it's typical. I mean, I don't do you don't have to have an FBI clearances or child safety unless you're on specific boards. It's not anything horribly intrusive and it's all public information, so.
But I think you said at one point when I asked, I think, it's not held against them, like you have to answer that, but we're not, they can.
Right,
So
if they're making an attempt to pay off the debt, say they have 3,000 in arrears for taxes, but they have shown that they're making an attempt to pay off the debt, we don't hold it against them, we'll still move it forward.
Right, so they'll, if something shows up when I'm checking for them, they'll get a formal letter from Linda telling them exactly why, you know, this happened. And we provide the telephone numbers and how to verify, you know, sometimes things happen and it's John Smith, and it could be the wrong John Smith, or, you know, those kinds of things. So we've had that situation in the past as well, but anything that comes up, we hold their applications 90 days to contact whatever office the issue is. Get verification that that has happened, they'll come in for an interview.
Okay, so they have an opportunity
Mhm.
to amend that situation, and then when they come before us, is either amended, or they took care of it, or they have none.
Right,
Okay.
It's very similar to the blighted property review committee with the
Right.
ask order bill, same thing.
yeah, yeah.
So it's not just.
Right.
the
And if
board.
I have a very serious question, those are the ones that I will ask Mike Gumbar about.
Would you say like the criminal record criteria is?
It's any open case. So if something in your past would show up because it doesn't ever go away, as long as it's closed and you've not had anything since then, I will check with Mike Gumbar about those kinds of situations, and then he determines, yes, they can, or no, they cannot, because recently someone was disqualified from with their
We won't allow
application.
no felons, right? Like that's
Correct.
not automatic. But like
That's
somebody has a bunch of misdemeanors.
Yeah, that's, or if it's a criminal case because you got evicted when you were 17 and you didn't understand how to pay your bills, that's not gonna be held against you for your entire life. That's, you know,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's that strict. I just think, you know, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're doing all those things already. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can make a mistake. but
right, and
there's not-
everybody overlooks bills now and then, but it's not something
Right,
that's gonna hold me
right.
back for forever.
And I don't think that we're in the business of dissuading, you know, people from being volunteers. We want volunteers. So it's not like we're like making up these exorbitant rules.
What's the total number of people that participate on boards and commissions, approximate?
It's a 325, give or take. It's a lot to
It is a
manage,
lot.
yeah.
The other question is just following up on the organizations for the youth. We mentioned that last time, did you, I'm not sure where.
I have not had a chance to
Oh,
reach
she just
out
sent
to
you an
that.
email. I'm like, send us another email, she got it. So I just wanted to check in where we're at, and
Yeah,
just
that's-
because of what happened over the weekend and everything. Well, now, yeah. We kind of got hammered at that event because of, you know, the youth and the violence and all of this. I'm like, just wanna check in, you reach, or at
Well,
least have a list.
And Edna is very familiar with the commission. She knows it exists. There were in the past, the commission members were going to her meetings, so there was a relationship there. I think the person who was participating is now off the commission, but she's aware they exist. I'll reach out to her again. She's top of my list.
Overall, like, yeah, other, aside from Edna, other organizations that are working with you, so that we are, at least I'm aware and I know what they're called, what they do, I can meet with them and get a little bit more involved, but I know Edna's very good at sending her minutes and her agenda, and
Yeah,
she's one that will stay, you know, on top, but everybody else, I don't hear about, I don't know. And of course, we get called out for not doing enough, and it's like, well, sometimes it takes a little bit of homework to figure out what's out there.
yeah. Yeah, I did think of a few. That's in my
But
pile.
what's
I'll get,
in
yeah.
case, shall we?
At some point, I'll get down to that in my pile and
appreciate
it'll
it.
remind me.
Yeah. I remember because I was at the visual and that was a conversation, it's a hard conversation.
Yeah.
So I got, we can adjourn.
Wes?
You got it. You can do it.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Held us up a little bit, but I always learn
It was
something.
good.
Yeah, thank you.